So the year is 2010, and the church that I was attending at the time, Cross Plains, was partnering with Cornerstone Church, and we were going to go to Israel.
So in 2010, I found out that the church that I was attending and another church was joining together to go to Israel in November. Honestly, if that had been the only thing the Lord had done, was to get me to Israel, it would have been amazing. But I was about to find out that the Lord had something even more amazing in store for me.
Come time for the Israel trip, here we are about to get on the plane, ready to go, and I see her. Hello, friends. We're Tara and Alex Payne, the founders of A Beautiful Adventure Marriage, and we just want to take a few minutes to share our story with you.
So we get back from Israel and we start dating, and things are going amazing. I think we both knew pretty early on that there was something very special here.
Yeah, she actually tricked me into telling her that I loved her at Taco Bell like 3 weeks in.
There was no trickery.
Trickery was the foot.
There was no trickery, but we did. We said I love you very quickly, and we meant it. Things just felt really good and right, and it was like we had known each other our whole lives, and we had honestly only met like a month ago. So fast forward 6 months,
Yes.
and I find myself beside a creek with this man on one knee asking me to be his wife. And I have never been more sure of anything in my entire life. There was no question. Like, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that that prayer that I had prayed 1,000,000 times was being answered right before my eyes.
Well, and I asked her to marry me on May 15th, and on May 16th, if she would have allowed it, that would have been our anniversary, because we would have I would have been fine going to the courthouse and getting the paperwork and you being my wife right then. However, we had some people in our lives that did not tell us to stop so much as pump the brakes and consider all options of what you're about to get yourself into. And what I mean by that is Miss Sharon actually said, you don't know each other, you haven't been through anything together.
You don't know what you're doing.
Things like that that were very helpful now.
Yes.
We see them as helpful now.
Absolutely. We actually sat in this very office
Yeah.
where we are right now, and Miss Sharon counseled us.
Yes.
And she loved on us. And she opened up her marriage to us. And she was very real about some hardships that her and Pastor had been through and how they had worked through them. She organized money classes.
Yeah.
For us to take.
13 weeks of money classes.
13 weeks of money classes. Oof. She assigned us books that we needed to read. All of it for the sake of she wanted us to be happily married.
Yeah.
She was brave enough to be real with us in, I think you're moving too fast. She said those exact words. I think you're moving too fast, but I want to help you.
Yeah.
You know, obviously y'all want to be married. That's great. Let me help you.
Yeah. So it was super important that she and Pastor came alongside us and counseled us and they taught us how to communicate with each other. Little things on just how to speak to one another and how to relate to one another and how to fight fair. We learned so much from them in that time of just how to exist together.
Yeah, how to be married and be happy.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Yeah, and part of our success in marriage is due to the fact that we were just smart enough to listen.
Absolutely. Like, I think back on, I think we did like maybe 6 or 7 weeks of marital counseling. I look back on those weeks, and at the time, I was like, oh, we're not going to deal with any of this stuff.
We're never going to fight.
We're never going to argue.
We love each other.
Yeah. We're going to live on love, and it's going to be fantastic.
We would have starved.
Yeah, we'd have died because we'd have killed each other. But because we listened, because we remembered what we were taught,
Yes.
we used all of it. Every single thing that she talked to us about, we ended up using. And because we remembered, because we were smart enough to listen and to implement what she had taught us, a lot of the things that we went through them very easily.
Yeah.
Have we had downtimes? Yes. Have we had arguments? Sure. Not many. And with the exception of just 1 or 2, they really haven't been bad. We've worked through them. We've had closure. And I don't believe any of that would have happened had Miss Sharon not sat us down and loved us, but taught us a lot of really good stuff.
Yeah, and we had her. After we had gotten married, we had an Andy and a Penny that came alongside us and started to mentor us and to teach us some things that they had both seen in their marriage that have helped us just exponentially. And it was odd. People started coming up to us and saying weird things like, I just love your love.
Those exact words.
Yeah, like, I love your love. Thank you. But they were so complimentary of us, and we couldn't figure out why.
We were just being married, doing
Yeah.
the very best we could to be happily married.
Yeah, we were doing the things that we had been taught and the things that we thought were right to be happily married.
Yeah.
And we were doing pretty good.
Absolutely. And I told you that when Alex asked me to marry him, there was no doubt in my mind that he was the one. I mean, no doubt at all. This was the man that God created specifically for me. But I am so thankful for all the mentorship we got, because you can find the exact one for you, but you still have to invest.
Yeah.
You still have to make those investments into your marriage. And I don't think people would have come up to us and said, I love your love, and man, you look like you're so in love. We just love seeing y'all together. That wouldn't have happened. I genuinely don't believe that would have happened had those people not come and just opened up their lives to us.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it started happening more and more where people were coming up to us at church and different places and talking about our relationship with one another and saying all these really complimentary things. And it was enough that we would leave church having conversations about, you know what so-and-so said today?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, somebody came up to me and said they loved our love. What's that about? But it was enough that we started looking to see why we were different. We started looking to see why people saw whatever they saw in us. And we traced it all back to the counseling that we received before we were married, to the wisdom and the advice that had been poured into us, and the fact that we were just smart enough to listen to it.
Absolutely. So, like Alex said, people kept coming up to us and making comments about how happy we looked and how much that they enjoyed seeing us together because it looked like we were so in love. And again, we traced it back to we had listened. to the counsel and the mentoring that we had received. But something else that this did is it really opened our eyes that there was so much negativity about marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were tons of married couples that you could tell just by looking at them that they were not happy. Just Google marriage, and pretty much all you get is negativity.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. We started to notice that there were two groups of people: people who complained about being single, and then people who complained about being married.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad because marriage is fun.
Yeah, marriage is awesome, and we were loving being married. We still love being married.
Mm-hmm.
And to look around and see, this is why people are coming up and saying this to us. We're the minority. Like, the majority of people that are married are wildly unhappy, or they're wildly negative toward each other.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, Pastor and Miss Sharon and Penny and Andy, they blessed us by coming alongside of us and sharing their life with us. We're going to do that too. Yeah. We're going to pass this on. We're going to pay this forward. So we decided that we were going to pick one couple, and we were just going to mentor them. And we had no plan. Like, no plan whatsoever.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look like this.
It didn't. It was, we literally called them one day and said, hey, want to hang out? And they said, sure. And, that first night we told them, like, we just want to bless another couple. We have no agenda.
Yeah.
We just want to share any wisdom that we've been given with you. If you have any wisdom, share it with us. Like, we just want to team up with you. And we want to help you to have a happy marriage because we were given a gift.
Well, and like Tara said, it didn't really have a structure. It didn't really have a plan or anything like that. 1 week it might have been a Bible study.
Mm-hmm.
One week we might have talked about money classes or something like that. It was never a set, like, we're going to go through this small group curriculum, or we're going to go through this reading plan on YouVersion together. Or like, it didn't look like that. It just looked like us hanging out with our friends and talking about real marriage things.
Real stuff. Hey, what's going on with you guys? How was your day? This was what our day was like. It was just very honest and real, and we just had a good time. And we loved doing that. And as time went on, we just continued to have that desire of, we want to help more couples.
Yeah.
And there's only one of us. We can't individually mentor everyone. So how do we make this better? How do we make this bigger? And the answer came in a very random time.
Of course.
I was actually on my phone one day. I was on Instagram, and I was watching one of the Instagram stories from my favorite author. And I love watching her Instagram, and it's so random. I mean, she may be talking about her kids one day, she may be talking about her husband one day, her dog, her ministry, her church. Like, it's just her showing her life. But I realized as I put my phone down that day that, I always walk away from her stories feeling encouraged and smiling and happy and just very positive. It's very uplifting. And in that moment, I remember this. I was actually in my bathroom. I was getting ready for work. The Lord spoke to my heart, and He said, why can't you do something like that for marriage? Like, why can't you start just a little social media site? And your only goal is that when people run across your stuff, they walk away feeling uplifted.
Yes.
And I thought, that's perfect. We can do that. So I went to Alex, and I cast my little bitty vision to him. It was so tiny at the time. Babe, I want us to get an Instagram page. I want us to get a Facebook page and a blog site. That's what I want to do. And the main goal, I just want us to share what we've learned. And I want us to shine a positive light on marriage. And honestly, I was so afraid of what you were going to say. Like, I had no idea how you were going to take that.
Yeah, and the conversation, of course, went... I think my answer was super short, but it was just okay.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. Let's start brainstorming it. Let's see what this looks like. You want to do videos? That's awesome. That's cool. So in our world, as it were, we were like, okay, well, what do we have? We have a house.
We have a house.
We-
We have an Instagram account.
We have a house. We have Facebook. We have Instagram. We don't have a way to record the videos. Walmart. Got it. So we went and bought a $25 webcam. That was at the time it was what we needed.
Yeah, you got the job done.
Yeah, we had the slowest computer that Best Buy had to offer.
Yep.
And quite frankly, our first few videos are painful to
They
watch.
really are.
Like
The lighting,
the
the
lighting's
audio.
bad because I mean it was just a ceiling fan in a room. It was pretty rough.
But the heart was there.
The heart was there. The message was there. And we just kind of kept plugging along at it.
Yeah.
Knowing that we needed upgrades, knowing that we needed certain things to happen, and over time, over the past 3 years or so, we've watched the Lord take this little intimate webcam thing that was always supposed to be this little small intimate thing. Like I think in both of our minds,
Yes.
it was always supposed to be just this little thing, and we were going to be positive about marriage, and
that was gonna be it.
That was it. We were completely content with it just being this little thing where we were just positive about marriage.
I always think about it was our little bitty dream.
Yeah, here's our gift, Lord.
Here's our little bitty dream. And my goodness, what the Lord has done.
Yeah.
October was 3 years. And He has taken that little bitty Instagram account and that little bitty Facebook account and that blog site that I paid like $50 for.
Yeah.
And He has turned it into a full-blown website. He has turned it into marriage conferences and bridal shows and a YouVersion reading plan. And He's turned it into a book. I mean, He took something that was so tiny, that I always thought was going to be so tiny.
Yeah.
And He has turned it into this dream that I couldn't even have imagined if I had tried.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. The Lord will take your little and He will transform it into something that is absolutely beautiful and absolutely amazing. So start small. If you have a dream, go for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely go for it. And we can promise you that we know 3 things. That marriage is God's idea. It is a good idea. And it can be a beautiful adventure. So let's go.
Let's go.